Welcome one and all to the fourth video in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Marathon Day here on my Alka1093 channel. This video will be a deck profile, and no one really suggested or requested any of them, so my list of deck profiles to do is empty, but I wanted to do a deck profile video, so I came up with one myself of a deck that I've used in the past. In Duel 128 I used my upgraded Barbaros Drain deck, which uses Beast King, Barbaros, and Skill Drain as main cards. This is a deck profile I want to share with you because I quite like the deck, and let's see what you guys think of it. Starting off, 3 Beast King Barbaros. It's a strong card, 1900 attack if you just normal summon it without tributes, because normally it's a level 8 with 3000. It's okay. But you can normal summon or sit it without tributing, but its original attack will then become 1900. And then if Skill Drain is active or you have something like Forbidden Chalice and you negate its effect, it goes back to 3000 and it will stay at that. 2 copies of Card Cardi because it helps you draw cards, and it is not stopped by Skill Drain because the cost of Card Cardi takes it off of the field, and Skill Drain only negates the effects of face-up monsters on the field, and during the time its effect resolves, Card Cardi is not on the field. So that's why that works. Maxi, there's a lot of special summoning this format, as with many before, so Maxi is still a very viable card to use. 3 Photon Saber Tiger. I haven't used this in any decks besides Skill Drain decks and the original Photon deck I believe that I used when there were only very few Photon cards. It is a level 3 of 2000 attack, which is a lot, but if you do not control another face-up Photon Saber Tiger, it loses 800 attack, so it's down to 1200, which makes it more like you would think is level 3 is. But when it's normal or flip summoned, you can add a Photon Saber Tiger from deck to hand, which another card in hand, extra card advantage, more chance to draw a card that you want. That is not Photon Saber Tiger. And if you just Skill Drain is on the field, obviously you won't be able to add. But if Skill Drain is on the field, then the effect that makes it lose 800 attack without another Saber Tiger is negated, so it'll be 2000 straight off the bat. 2 copies of Reborn Tengu, because it's a Beast Warrior, so that also is sort of a theme with Horn of the Phantom Beast, for example. And when it's removed from the field, you special summon a Reborn Tengu from the deck. It's mandatory, so it cannot miss timing, but if it's sent to the deck before it's able to resolve, it doesn't work, and if it's removed from the field while face down, it also doesn't work. That's part of its rulings. Then finally, Thunder King Ryo is an anti-mana card, also to stop people from adding cards from deck to hand. It sort of does stop in pod duality, but there's only one Thunder King Ryo, so that's not that much of a problem, really. It's mostly to stop the opponent and negate their special summons. And once again, just like with Card Cardi, it removes itself from the field upon activation of the effect. As for the cost of the effect, when it's resolving the effect, it's not on the field anymore, so Skill Drain cannot negate it. Pot of Duality will quite often actually be able to work under Thunder King Ryo because Skill Drain will be on the field negating that effect. So, in that sense, it's not really that bad. Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Forbidden Chalice I have 1 copy of. I tried some more. I believe the original I actually had 2 or 3. This one I have 1. What it does is it gives a monster a 400 attack. It's a quick play spell, by the way, so you can use it during the opponent's turn and also during the damage step. It gives a monster 400 attack, which can help in the damage step if you just need the 400 attack to beat a monster, but its effects are negated, and that's actually the most important part about this. Because let's say you normal summon Beast King Barbaros, 1900 attack because you don't use any tributes. Then you place Chalice face down, you don't have Skill Drain. The opponent summons something that has 2500 attack points, let's say, I don't know, Utopia. Attacks into Barbaros. During the damage step, you will then play Forbidden Chalice. Barbaros would then gain 400 attack to 2300, have its effect negated, and its effect makes its original attack 1900. Effect is negated, so the original attack is 3000, and then it still has the 400 attack from Forbidden Chalice, so until the end of turn, Barbaros will have for 3400 attack. And the nice thing is, once Forbidden Chalice stops affecting Barbaros at the end of the turn, the 400 attack will go, but it'll stay at 3000. Same with Skill Drain. If Skill Drain has even been active for just a millisecond and has actually been able to resolve, and therefore Barbaros was at 3000, if Skill Drain later leaves the field due to something like Mystical Space Typhoon, it stays at 3000. I have 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 3 Pot of Duality, 3 Upstart Goblin, a Bottomless Trample, a Call of the Haunted to bring monster back, Compulse, 2-dimensional Prison, 3 Horn of the Phantom Beast, which works with Beasts and Beast Warriors, which Barbaros, Tengu, and Saber Tiger are. It's a normal trap card which gives it equips to a monster, so it stays on the field as long as it's equipped. It gives the monster 800 extra attack, which is already nice. It once again can be used in a damage step to gain the edge. And also, when the target of this card, so let's say Reborn Tengu, it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard. So this doesn't work under Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure, because that doesn't send it to the grave. If the monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you draw a card, so that generates extra card advantage, which is very nice. 1 copy of Mirror Force, 3 Skill Drains to negate, well, my own effects, because that's actually a good thing here, and to negate opponent's effects, which can be quite annoying for the opponent. 3 because, well, it's an important card that I can, if they destroy 1 with Mystical Space Typhoon, I'll just have a second for them. 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Torrential Tribute, and then finally 2 Vanity's Emptiness, which makes both players unable to be special summon any monsters, but I don't special summon too often in this deck anyway, so this really just stops the big decks like Dragon Rollers from doing anything major. Now, when any card is sent from my deck or my field, from the deck or the field to my graveyard, Vanity's Emptiness gets destroyed. Mystical Space Typhoon will obviously do that as well, but the fact that it stops special summons completely is a very good card against something like, as I said, Dragon Rollers. The extra deck, I have 1 Stardust Dragon, because I side Starlight Road. Like, Heavy Storm is not a thing anymore, but you still have Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole. Starlight Road is now, if it's used less because Heavy is gone, but Starlight Road, if it's used, it's now used more to protect your monsters, not your back row. It's now used to protect your monsters. So 1 Stardust Dragon because I have 2 Starlight Roads in extra deck. As for my rank 3s, I have Zen Mines, Tempo, Mechcrypt Engineer, Livia the Sea Dragon, Leviathan Dragon, and Acid Golem. Acid Golem, I barely ever use it, only when I'm really in a pinch. But as long as you can make sure Skill Drain stays on the field, Acid Golem is really a force to be reckoned with. 3000 attack. You don't have to detach anything or take damage during your standby phase because of Skill Drain, because the effect is negated. And even if it would have no Exceed materials anymore, and then you activate Skill Drain, it can still attack, because without Skill Drain it wouldn't be able to, but now you can, you won't take damage. So, a little more use for Acid Golem of Destruction. Gaga Cowboy, Abyss Dweller, Maestroke, Diamond Dyer, number 50 Black Ship of Corn, Utopia, Gemini Pearl, and then 1 rank 8, because I did want 1 rank 8 to work with Barbaros. I decided to go with Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. I felt that that was the most versatile for this deck, the most useful. Yeah, I just felt it was most. There's a couple other rank 8s that could definitely work. I just felt at the time that I made this that this was the most usable. Now understand that Skill Drain will be active quite a lot, so you won't Xyz summon that much, because usually you Xyz summon for their effects, and with Skill Drain active, you're not going to be able to use it much. So in that sense, Gemini Pearl has an extra advantage because it doesn't have an effect. So it's not really going to use it anyway. But if Skill Drain is not on the field, feel free to use any of those effects. 3 combos of Fencing Fire Ferret. I remember the first Yu-Gi-Oh discussion when it was had the OCG name of Kamai Tachi. I remember when I did that. I haven't used it much. I have it in there because it is nice. Its effect activates in the graveyard, so Skill Drain cannot stop it. When it's destroyed and sent to the grave, you target a face-up monster the opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. It's a beast, so it works with Horn of the Phantom Beast. And as I said in that very first Yu-Gi-Oh discussion video, it works with Diamond Direwolf, which then destroys Ferret and an opponent's card, and then Ferret's destroyed, so that would destroy another card in the opponent's field. I have 1 Dimensional Fissure and 1 Macrocosmos. This will stop certain opponents' decks that really make use of the grave. Dragon Rulers, in a sense, still get their effects, but since they're not sent to the grave, it does stop them from spamming the field as much, and it's still very useful against many other decks. Prophecy isn't really as good because their spellbooks require them to be in the grave. Spellbook of Master, Tower, Fates, they need stuff in the grave. So if Microcosmos is able to banish them, that's great. A final Mystical Space Typhoon, because in this format with Heavy gone, if you don't have all 3 Space Typhoons in your main deck, you'll have the rest in your side. A Dust Tornado, because I felt extra destruction was necessary for the side deck. 3 Imperial Iron Wall to just stop the major banishing plays. Instead, if you want to banish or you don't want to banish, I don't banish in my deck, so I just stop. Once again, Dragon Rulers, I stop Prophecy in the sense of Spellbook of Fate. Many other decks banish as a big thing, so Imperial Iron Wall is there to stop that. A second Mirror Force for some destruction. Soul Drain, monsters that are banished as well as monsters in the grave cannot activate their effects. Dragon Rulers, other card as well, but again, mostly Dragon Rulers because they're just the best deck at the moment. You see, like 13 and the 16 of the top 16 decks at YCS San Mateo recently were all Dragon Ruler or Dragon Ruler variants. 2 copies of Starlight Road to protect monsters, and finally one more Vanity's Emptiness would the opponent really be into spamming special summons. That was my deck profile for Beast King Barbaros Skill Drain 2.0, I guess I could call it, because I've made one before. That one was a lot more crappy. This is a serious deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. This is the 4th video in the marathon. I still have a duel video, a deck profile, and a Yu-Gi-Oh! News video left. I may do the count duel video as the deck request, because that includes duel video as well. I'll see. If anything, I'll do the duel video last if I still have time and I feel like it. But you still have a deck request coming from me today and a Yu-Gi-Oh! News video. So I hope you're looking forward to that. See you later.